Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and I hope you are doing good. This has been a long time and today I'll be making the video on Global Korea Scholarship 2024 which has been announced recently, and today I'll be explaining the guidelines in this video. So please stay till the end of this video, and here I'll be explaining the guidelines one by one, and there are some important changes this year, so please stay focused. Let's start. So as you can see here, you can download the guidelines from here, this website, that is studyinkorea.go.kr, and you can see there is a significant change this year, that is the expected graduation certificate. So if you observe the guidelines of last year, you can see that the people who were applying last year, they couldn't apply because they were in the final year. But this year, if you are in final year, you can still apply for the scholarship. So this has been a big change, and that's they have written here. And then you can see the guidelines zip folder. I would recommend you to download all these things because you will need these files for the further information. So let's see the guidelines and let's see how they have written everything about the scholarship. So here's the guidelines, and now we'll be checking out the information in this guideline. I'll be mentioning the important points because I have already made a video on 2023, 2022. So this time we are focusing on the important changes which has been done, and I would recommend you to watch this video carefully. Let's proceed. So as you can see, it's same as the previous years. There is master degree, doctor degree, and research, and you can see the specific quotas are mentioned, how many seats are there. So if you go ahead, you can see the universities available. So you can see there are type A, type B, which is same as all the years. Then if you go ahead, you will see so this has been addition to the program, that is GKS. It's kind of a program that is some kind of they focus on local government. You have to study on some specific topics. So this is something which I'm not even sure about. So maybe I would recommend you to ask the questions to the university directly about this program. But if you are applying to the general program, that is a general master degree or doctor degree, then you can stick to type A and type B universities. So here you can see if I just highlight some changes, so you can see there's type B universities. If you are applying for type B universities, then you can apply to the desired program. For examples, if you are applying to type B, you can apply by general program or through regional university program. So while filling the application form, you can either select general or select the regional if you are applying to type B. It will depend on the major which you are applying for. Moving ahead, so these are the program quotas, and then you have so yeah, this is the GKS preference. So it's it's the recommendation from local government universities in RISE project, something like RISE project for educations. It's some kind of special degree which they are offering this time. So this is a new program, but I'm not sure the details about it. They have not mentioned in the guidelines also. So maybe we have to ask the university where they are offering this program about this program. Now moving ahead, that is the eligibility. So we all know that you should not be a Korean national to apply for this scholarship. And then for the education, so if you're applying for master's degree, you should have a bachelor's degree at least. For doctor, you should have master's degree at least. And for postdoc, you have to have doctor degree. And this is the change which they have done this year. So as you can see, if you are graduating by 31st of July 2024, then you can apply for this scholarship with a document called Certificate of Expected Graduation. So we have made a video on Certificate of Expected Graduation already before. If you know the format, it's good. If you don't know the format, I would recommend you to watch the video, and then you can use that certificate to apply for the scholarship. Or even if you have graduated and if you have provisional certificate, you can still use that certificate to apply for the scholarship, but you have to submit your final degree by July 31st, 2024. So if you pass this scholarship, you have to submit this certificate to NIIED by this date. So this is a change for this year. And for the grades, it has been explained very simply. Like you can see, you can have you should have 80 percentile on 100-point scale, or you should be on top 20% of your class. And if you are writing with CGPA, then the CGPA cutoffs are these. So in some cases, like if you are applying from India, you know that the CGPA is on 10 scale. So here you can see that there is no 10 scale mentioned here. So in that case, you have to convert your 10 scale to 4 scale using some kind of online tools like Scholaro, WES, and then you have to get the university authentication. We will later see that part in the video. Other things are about age. Then the requirements, these are not important for you, so I'll skip these things and I'll focus on the important things. So you can see a person who has graduated from Korean high school is not eligible to apply. Also, who have received the scholarship and rejected is not eligible to apply. So moving ahead, so you can see here duplicate submission. So it is important. So if you are applying by embassy track, and if you have passed the first round of embassy track, you cannot apply through university track. So you have to stick to one track, either university or embassy. So embassy track applicants must apply to only one program, and university track applicants only one program through general, or GKS, or international reconstruction talent, or global network, whatever the programs are. And duplicate submissions will be if they find out that you are submitting in your applications to 2 universities, or maybe embassy and university, then they are going to reject your application. So please be careful about this. Now moving ahead, the documents. So this is pretty same as last year. So you have application form, personal statement, study plan, research proposal. This is not required for master's and doctor degree. And this is a letter of recommendation. Only one letter of recommendation is needed. Then this one, application agreement. Then personal medical assessment. These are pretty self-explanatory documents. So you just have to check these things and fill, and then just submit it. So now the thing is, these certificates, required column, this is the gray colored area. So here you can see it must be apostilled or consular confirmed. So these are the documents which you have to apostille. So you have to apostille your proof of citizenship, that is birth certificate, and you have to apostille your bachelor's degree, transcript, master's if you are applying for PhD, master's transcript. Then you have to apostille these kind of things. So four main important documents. I mean three most important documents. One is the proof of citizenship, then the degree, and transcript. So these 3 things you have to apostille. Then moving ahead, the extra documents. So you can see here you can submit your topic score if you have, or English proficiency certificate if you have, and then awards and other certificates, and the applicant's passport copy. So these are all optional. So you can see here optional, but these are required. So you have to submit these certificates anyhow. Then the requirements, you can see these kind of requirements. It is again self-explanatory. You can read it. So there are 2 kinds of documents: documents to complete and required certificates. So documents to complete is these documents, and required are these documents. So you have to apostille the required, if you are apostilling the documents, you have to apostille the required certificate. And what are the required certificates? So we have already seen in the previous this part. So these are the required certificates. So, and if you are applying for embassy track, then you can see you have to submit 1 set of original and 3 sets of photocopies. And if you are apostilling it, so you have to submit 1 set of apostilled original and then take 3 copies of it. You don't have to apostille 4 times. Okay, so keep that in mind. And for university track, you have to apostille 1 set, and you have to submit that 1 set. So these are the things which you have to note. So I mean, these are pretty basic things. And then so for the birth certificate, proof of citizenship, you can see here you need to submit birth certificate. And So for the applicant, you have to submit birth certificate anyhow. It's mandatory. If you don't have birth certificate, you cannot apply for the scholarship. I'm pretty much clear about this fact. So you have to submit birth certificate, and for your parents, you can submit your for your parents you can submit their passport copies. So this is like the very straight information to you. And you have to apostille the birth certificate, but you don't have to apostille the passport copies. So this is all mentioned in this section. You can read it again and get the information. And then for the certificate of graduation, you can see you have to submit graduation certificate and then the transcripts. And if you are expected to graduate, then you have to submit the final certificate by this date. And then for now, you have to apply with the expected graduation certificate. So that's about the graduation certificate. Then transcript. So you can see again same rule for transcript. You have to apostille it. But if you are still in the final year, you have to submit those transcripts by 31st of July 2024. So moving ahead, the score of the English test and the TOPIK certificate. So as you can see, if you have TOPIK, you have to submit like you don't have to apostille these things. So you just have to submit these documents, extra certificates and all the passport copies. You don't have to apostille these things. Now moving ahead to the apostille notes, which you can see. So many people ask me this question is like they have apostilled it 1 year before. Is it still valid or not? So yes, it is valid if they have not mentioned the expiry date on the certificate. But if there's no date on it, so it's valid for 2 years. They have mentioned about this also in this guidelines. So you can see here, if there is an expiration date on apostille, the validity of document will be judged on the basis of that. But if there is no date, then it's 2 years from the date of authentication. So this is the procedure. Every year it's same. You apply by embassy first round, then they will recommend your names to NEED, then NEED second round, and then they will send your documents to university and you get the university admission. That's for the embassy track. For university, you send your documents directly to the university, then they will recommend your documents to NEED, they get the results from NEED, and then you got in that university. So it's same as like all the years. Now moving ahead, so these are the timelines. So you can see, they have announced the guidelines just now, so maybe the embassy will be releasing the notification very soon, the deadlines, and then you have to follow that deadline, and universities will also release the deadlines very soon. Now the evaluation. So when you submit your documents, what are the main important things they see to evaluate your documents? So you can see like the names should match. This is the most basic thing, like the name should be same at all the documents. And also if the name is not same, then you have to submit a document from the government like affidavit showing that like this name and this name is same. So you have to see these things, and if you have to support something, to then give an additional document to support that claim. Moving ahead to the other parts. So you can see here the qualifications. So they would review the documents, and then they would compete with other documents, like how good your document is compared to other documents. Then additional points, like if you have TOPIK, then of course you will get like some additional points. So these are the points per language proficiency test. So if you have like IELTS score 8, then you get 90% point for the language proficiency category. Then the preference is mentioned here. So, and if you see here the number 3 from top to bottom, if you follow if you follow this like rank, like number 1 is like overseas Korean with no citizenships, they are number 1 preferred. Then number 2 and number 3 is if you are applying to type B universities with a natural science and engineering department major. So yeah, you have to, like, if you want to do engineering in Korea, it's better to apply to type B. Then the final announcement, and as you can see here, like these are all basic information about. And once you get the, like, if you have the final degree and you want to submit it, so you have to submit on this address, and you have to write these things on the envelope when you send your documents. And then when you are selected for the scholarship, then you have to prepare multiple copies of apostille documents, because they need that document in every step, like getting visa and all this stuff. So they want to verify the documents, so you have to have the multiple set of like apostille set. But for now you just have to stick with one copy, I mean one original, and 3 copies for embassy. So these are like same like as previous year, and the benefits they have mentioned. Then some information about, like, if you have any questions related to applications, then you should email to this, and then they would reply to your email with all the answers. But generally they would give you the same answer which is written in this guidelines. So I would recommend you to read this guideline very carefully, because I think they have explained everything in this guidelines. And so if you are converting your scale on like Scholaro or something, and if you have like the GPA within this scale, then your percentile would be 100, and if you have GPA within this, then it would be 97. So if you see the application documents, like when filling the application form, which I will make a next video on how to fill the application form, so you will see that how to, like, if you have a GPA, and then if you don't know the score percentile, then you can refer this appendix, and then you can write the score percentile accordingly. So moving ahead, like, these are the contact information of the embassy and the universities. So if you have any questions, you can directly email them any questions if you have, and they would answer it. Now this is also a very important section of this guideline, that is FAQs. So they have actually answered like most of the commonly asked questions. And you can submit, should I submit my parents' passport copy? So I mean, applicant's birth certificate is a mandatory document. So if you read this answer, you can get this idea from this answer. And then for additional supplement, you have to submit the passport copies. So that's pretty self-explanatory from this answer. Now moving ahead, like, all these basic questions has been answered here. I would recommend you to read these things. And so that's it about this guidelines, and I think I was able to give you a basic brief about this guideline. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to my Instagram, or you can comment this question, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell.